Hello. Okay. You want to go ahead then, though?
Yeah, let's get started. Would you like to kick it off, and then I'll play a more passive role on this event, and as people are joining, feel free to weave them in, and I'll be able to participate until the bottom of the hour, half past, and then then I'll probably be tied up. So thank you for participating, and I'll kick things off and turn it over to you. My name is Doug Brunke. I'm the founder and CEO of Global Chamber. Global Chamber is a network around the world of 525 chapters. We should have all of the chapters built out within the next 2 to 3 years, and that's been my main role of finding people that are better and smarter than me everywhere in the world. And fortunately, 2 of those are going to be speaking today. We've got Debbie Adesola-Debbie, who will be leading today's meeting, and then also Ogbonna Ukuku, who is out of Global Chamber Abuja, will also be one of our speakers today. The topic is investing primarily in Nigeria, but I'm sure there'll be a conversation that extends well beyond Nigeria, because while he's not here yet, he is here. Komi will also, because of his base in Ghana and also his activity all across Africa, Senegal, and other countries, I'm sure he'll be contributing a conversation of investing outside of Nigeria as well. And I know many of you who are on the call, including Rabina, who's out of Uganda, will have different perspectives of opportunities. Our goal for every Globinar that we do at Global Chamber is to be positive and educational and knowledgeable and create facts that help all of us grow business around the world. Africa is an amazing opportunity going forward. There's so many opportunities today. There are challenges, just like there are in other parts of the world. We just need to work through them. It'll never be perfect, but it will be and continue to get better in terms of investing and growing across the continent. And AFCFTA is a great example of the progress that's been made just in the last few years, where trade now is recognized as being important across all 54 countries of Africa. And there are steps being taken to improve the processes and systems to be able to do that trade and investing. And so, Debbie, I turn it over to you. Debbie is our Global Chamber Lagos, Nigeria Executive Director. This is the second event that she's done over the last several weeks on investing. The last one was on private equity with a really fascinating speaker. Really appreciate that conversation, Debbie. And that is the last event that we have posted in our blog. So if you missed that and you'd like to listen to that, go to theglobalchamber.org. Check out the blog, and you'll see that last meeting that we had 2 or 3 weeks ago. Debbie, I turn it over to you. Thank you for leading the conversation today.
Thank you very much, Doug. Comment of the day, everyone, wherever you are in the part of the world. Thank you for joining in, and we're glad to have you here. We sure hope that you get 1 or 2 things from today's webinar. I actually assure that it's going to be great. You're going to get a lot of information that you don't know. So my name is Debbie, as Doug has informed, and we'll be having a great time today. We have seasoned speakers today. We have Komi, as Doug has already introduced him. We have Niyi, Sanusi, who is a barrister and a solicitor here in Nigeria, Nigerian bar. And we have Ogbonna also that will be talking and enlightening us about investments and the takes. So without much further ado, I would want to hand over to each speaker today, so that we don't waste time, because Niyi actually has another event for 5:30, so we want to finish on time. Thank you all for joining, and have a wonderful time listening and being enlightened today. How do we go now? Do we go Niyi, Komi? Niyi, will you go? Yeah, because you have to leave on time. So Niyi, you go first. Then we have Komi, please, and then we have Ogbonna, but I'm yet to see Ogbonna online though. Yeah, so maybe he would have his own the last session. Thank you once again, Komi, for having you here. It was a wonderful time. 2 days, was it 2 days ago? I really enjoyed your speech. It was really nice. I loved it. And Robina, thank you so much for joining us in this seminar too. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Looking forward to your event coming up. Komi.
Sure. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Okay, so Niyi, please, can you go ahead?
Yes, please. Thank you very much. Good afternoon from Nigeria. Nice to see everyone. Can I have that picture, please? Don't mind, if possible. For the slide. Okay, no problem. Let me try and share it if you can make me full. Can you find it? Okay, good. Yeah, I don't know if you can. I don't know if we can all see this picture. It's a very interesting picture, but I don't know if you can all see it. But this picture was taken about 10 years ago. About 10 years ago by a client of mine. I would like to ask a question, if you don't mind. I would like to see a show of hands as well. Look at the environment. How many of you would like to take perhaps handle some of the equipment, the rocks and the sand and all that? How many of you would like to have that and keep it in your pocket? If I can have a show of hands, I would really like to have that. You like to handle it, and you like to handle. All right. I can only see Debbie's hand, but in its rawest form.
I would not like to handle it because I don't know what it is, so it doesn't show. It doesn't seem to be anything interesting to me. So I would not go close to it.
That's very good. That's very good. That's very good, because you are even in Accra, so that's very good. So I'm going to hold you on that for me. Now, this in its rawest form is the metal gold. It's gold. This is actually gold in its rawest form. So we are seeing a vein containing gold and a few other elements, but primarily gold. Now, why am I showing this this particular picture? This is a Nigerian mine, and it's a metaphor really for what Nigeria looks like now. With all the noise and all the issues around it, Nigeria is still a very golden opportunity for any investor to look into. If you are distracted by what you are seeing without looking at what is potentially available, then you will miss what Nigeria is going to be in the next few years. Now we can start with the slide, please. Do we have the slide?
Okay.
The slide is not here, so I understand we are having a fix. So, yeah. All right.
Could you share, please, if you have it?
Okay, let me try and share. All right. So I'll share it. Why is Nigeria the next best investment destination, particularly in Africa? I have a few reasons here. I'll try to discuss that in the course of this meeting. Now, we strongly believe that Nigeria will become one of the top investment destinations in the next few years, as I said. Several sectors can be watched, are on the horizon for us to begin to have an idea of how and what shape Nigeria's investment scenario will take. So I'll just take a few of them, just to showcase what we have and what will be happening in the next few years, particularly for the discerning investor and others around Nigeria's investment, others who have interest in Nigeria's investment environment. Clearly, this topic, fintech, needs no introduction. Nigerians are raising money at an extremely historical rate, both for local fintechs and those outside. But as long as they have a Nigerian founder, it seems there's some kind of magic associated with it. I mean that as a joke, by the way, but you can see the figures here, that the amount of money, of capital that was raised in the last 1 year surpasses what has been raised between 2011 to 2020. Indeed, we can see that even in Africa, of the top 7 fintechs around the world, around Africa, 5 have come from, of the top 7, 5 are founded by Nigerians. Now, this also shows that, this is also indicative of what is about to happen. These are unicorns. These are unicorns, by the way. Those are companies that have attained $1 billion plus. And so of those top companies in Africa, we have 5 out of 7 in Nigeria. This speaks a lot to that industry. Now, in America, I have a research document, which I can forward to anyone who's interested, which shows that of the top 60 immigrant population, Nigerian founders rank 15. That's with Romania, Italy, and I believe Poland, with 6 unicorns already in the US alone. This is a significant potential sector to focus on, and is actually potentially also the gold of the future for Nigeria. This is one sector that is also basically subterranean. We're not seeing the impact as yet. We can't even feel it. And so if one does not pay full attention to it, you are bound to miss the fact that Nigeria is about to explode, really, in terms, and I mean that in a very, in a good sense, that Nigeria is about to explode as far as the economy is concerned. So we need to be very, very careful in assessing the opportunities in this sector, so that we make decisions based on the potentials that are heading this way in fintech. Just a few minutes ago, I heard of another fintech that's raised about $2 million, but I think Big Mama also. It speaks a lot about what Nigerians are capable of doing, both locally and otherwise. It also talks about the capacity of this country going forward. I will talk about that. I mean, if I have enough time, we'll talk a little more about that. But for a lot of sectors, we are beginning to see that apps and all kinds of inventions are beginning to play a major role in the sectors, in various sectors. And with Nigeria's population of 200 million, the sky is probably just the beginning for this particular sector. What in summary, please, if you have the capacity, this is a sector to let you know that we are heading somewhere in Nigeria. But beyond that, it's also a catalyst for the entire economy to take shape. And so please keep an eye on FinTech Nigeria. I'll go to the next slide. One of the more prominent sectors of Nigeria that we probably all know about is the petroleum industry. This has been Nigeria's golden goose for a while. It's about to get even more golden for Nigeria in the next few years. That's hopefully if the Dangote refinery is able to take off within a year or two, but hopefully to be next year. Now, if they are able to do that by next year, a lot of the foreign exchange that Nigeria is currently taking outside the nation, I understand it's up to $14 billion per annum. A lot of this will be conserved internally and will be deployed to other areas. The reason why this is important is because, as I said earlier, we are looking at catalysts. This does not necessarily cut across every industry where you're having $14 billion and all that. But the point is that when you're looking at some of the catalyst sectors that will jumpstart the economy for other sectors to be able to get involved. This is one of them. If this refinery and other refineries come on stream, you will have a multiplier effect on the Nigerian economy, such that a lot of the sectors that were moribund and asleep as we speak will be able to pick up. And so you are able to now have a lot more potentials opened up in the country, and for a lot of other investment capabilities to happen. We don't need to talk too much about refining. We need to look at the other aspects of distribution, the marketing, the logistics that will open up once this refinery takes off. And so my urgency, my advice, and my admonition is that for those who are keen, particularly our friends who are from outside Nigeria, who may be keen on looking at Nigerian investment, this is a pointer to where this country is heading to. It's going to be too late at some point to begin to contemplate Nigeria's investment environment, particularly if you look too strongly at the media and all the negative news you're looking at. These things will change Nigeria practically overnight. And then entry barriers into your preferred sectors will come up and will be a bit more stringent. I'll go to the next slide as we continue. A few weeks ago, we had another meeting at Global Chamber Lagos, and one of the members did a very thorough job on agriculture and fertilizer. I don't need to overflog this issue, but at least I've seen one or two people in this room at the moment who are also heavy on agriculture. We are looking at the potential capacity of Nigeria, not just to feed itself, but to also feed the entirety of Africa. Of course, Africa will not wait for Nigeria alone to feed it. A lot of African nations have the capacity and potential that Nigeria has. Nigeria's potential here, in terms of its agricultural capacity, has to do with the fact that almost every part of the country is arable. That means you can plant, you can do almost anything agricultural with this country in many ways. For example, you don't need fertilizer in many parts of Nigeria in order to be able to plant your crops. You can as well I've seen a situation where somebody flung a seedling of a particular crop, and within days, we saw it germinating. This is how fertile Nigeria's land basically is. Quite arable, quite fertile, and a good source of agricultural investment will be ideal for anyone who's interested. We have the possibility also, because the government is also focusing on essential crops now. We understand close well. We can't give the figure at this point about the fact that or the prospects that it is some of the essential crops such as rice. Nigeria is now self-sufficient about that. I can't say that that's the truth or that's the correct position, but there's a striving for that, for rice and a few other essential crops. And as I've said about the local fertilizer production, we also need to look at Dangote again. Nigeria will be a self-sustaining country when it comes to fertilizer production. All these are adding up to the agricultural sector also taking off on a fantastic level in order for the country to show up its capacity as a producer in terms of agricultural products and also in terms of foreign exchange earnings. I'll go to the next slide. One other very key thing that is going to help make this country very key destination for investment is,
please over.
Okay.
Can we
I'm sorry.
I think after the
emoji, please can you mute your?
He was able to use himself after like a day or two.
You can go ahead.
All right. Sorry about that. So one of the key things about one of the key drivers that we look at that we're expecting regarding the Nigerian economy also has to do with diaspora funds. This may not be a very, very prominent source of income at the moment, but in the next few years, we expect that to be. As I said in our meeting a few days ago, we are seeing the prospects from actually the Nigerian political candidates at the presidential level, and they're beginning to mention this. In 2020, I believe we recorded about $17.2 billion from the diaspora community. Last year, it was up to $19 billion. This is expected to increase for very obvious reasons. 2020, 2021 were the COVID years. And that, of course, the slump or the figures here will not reflect full economic activity. By the time we are going into 2022, 2023, we expect a higher sense of a higher rate of economic activity, which will, of course, in turn, we expect to now reflect in the diaspora remittances. If by the time any of the, hopefully, the candidates we are seeing now get into office, we expect that they'll be able to structure these funds in such a way that portions of it, if they're able to negotiate very well or discover a good discussion with the funders, the people who own the money, these funds may be directed into key sectors of the economy, funds that we cannot get from multilateral institutions and other third-party lenders at the moment. This will be very, very good for this economy because this is assured funds that will be coming into the country on a regular basis. And if the government is able to do what it should, then expect that this will also be a key catalyst for the driving of the Nigerian economy. When this happens, as it surely will, you will expect that potentially the government will drive a portion of this money into fintech that I talked about. Fintech will be the next oil, as I said. And if by the time it becomes much more prominent, everyone will be involved. We can see a lot of Nigerian banks already investing in this area. The other day, we saw grants be given by, I think, EcoBank for some of these fintech inventions. We expect that to continue, and hopefully, it will materialize to such a point that when tech becomes mainstream, other inventions will reflect the genius capability and then the profitability of that industry. I'll go to the next slide, please. I believe that should be my last slide. Mining. Mining is one of my favorite areas for a number of reasons. This is a cash cow for Nigeria if and when we do get to it. It's a very important area for us because just like agriculture, the Nigerian mining sector is a potential breakthrough catalyst for Nigeria. How do I mean? What do I mean? Nigeria has 36 states. In each of those states, you have at least one or two very viable mining resources. At the moment, as the slide shows, we're at relative infancy of that of the industry. But in a place called Ilesha, you are having the Cellular gold project by Thor exploration of Canada, Nigeria. It's a Canadian-Nigerian mixed entity. What it's doing now is one of the largest gold mining operations in the country, and it's only started in Ilesha. The potential for gold alone is not something I can quantify at this point because the entire belt from the western belt from Nigeria, all the way from Zamfara, Sokoto, Kebbi, all the way into Osun State, shows that there's potential for much investment, all the way through Niger State as well. Potential for heavy investment, heavy reserves of gold alone in those areas. If by the time the Cellular gold project proves to be a viable endeavor, we will see lots more players coming into the sector for gold alone. The future shows that there will be much more investment in other minerals. Electric vehicles now need lithium, for example. Copper is going to be a key mineral for the future. In Nigeria, these two minerals are in abundant quantity. I know also for a fact that lead, zinc, iron are key aspects of Nigeria's mining policy. We have a lot of investors at the moment, but not of the quality or quantity or the type that you would like to deal expansively when it comes to lead, zinc, iron. Some of them are doing this basically on a subsistence level, and it's something that can really change overnight the destiny of this nation. And it will, because of a number of other facts, including the fact that the government has a policy now where you have community development programs that are associated with the lead, with the mining industry, not just lead. So if by the time this country is picking up on the mining sector, which is why those who are interested in Nigeria need to be very, very keen on the potential. As I said earlier, the entry barriers will go up. 10 years ago, the barriers for going into gold and all these industries were not so stringent. Now they are becoming tougher and tougher because of the potential that a lot of players are beginning to see. It's simply like what happened in telecoms, where there were no players. At least there was one major government monopoly quite a few decades ago. Now the entire atmosphere, the entire environment has changed as far as telecoms is concerned. This is going to happen across board for every sector that I've mentioned and many more that I've not talked about. Healthcare, as I talked about, telecoms, sports. I've not even talked about Nollywood, entertainment. There are many sectors that are about to take off on a specific, on a spectacular level, which a lot of outside investors and even Nigerian investors are not looking at because of what we are hearing in the news, and we are not paying a lot of attention. I think I'll stop here for now so that we continue with our other speakers. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Niyi. Thank you, Niyi. If we have questions, yes, we can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, thank you. Yes, I heard you. Thank you.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Yeah. Hello.
Yes, I can hear you.
All right. Okay, fine. Okay. So thank you for that session. That talk. Okay. For those that have questions, yeah. Do we have people that have questions? While we are waiting for people that may have questions, I have some questions actually because in the mining sector area. What's the level of action on the mining area? How well are we doing? Because a lot of people actually do not know that we have this.
Oh, that's why. Well, as I said in the PowerPoint presentation, we are still at our infancy, and we have a lot to do in that sector. Unfortunately, we've not done as much as we should as a nation, but I think that's because of oil. There's a lot of emphasis on the petroleum sector, but that is changing gradually. One of the things also that has not helped the mining sector, I need to be clear about this, has been the current state of security. But even at that, some activity is going in some territories. Indeed, some of the violence and some of the challenges of the sector have been because there have been disputes over mining territory and so forth. But as the nation stabilizes, in the next few years, you will hear of a lot of mining transactions happening, especially at the junior level, before we expect the players to come from outside. Hope that answers the question.
Okay, thank you for that. So who are the major players at the moment?
I'm sorry, I didn't get that question. Sorry?
Said, who are the shareholders currently? Like, who are the players in the mining sector here? Are they, is it more of government or mixed?
No, the government left the mining sector a long time ago. They used to have a Nigerian Mining Corporation, but since then, government stepped up because I mean the industry itself by nature, government cannot handle it. It's so diverse, you know. We have all kinds of minerals, base metals. That alone will take us some time to define. Precious metals. You have gemstones, all kinds. So even for the government to play in one, you know, if you look at the Ajaokuta steel project, it's just one mineral and it costs billions of US dollars over several decades. If you look at the aluminum sector, smelting company of Nigeria, Nipotech, Abasi, that's just bauxite. You're just trying to convert just one mineral on such a huge project. So the government has no capacity to do it, to handle that anymore. But as I mentioned, for the gold sector, Cellular, Thor Exploration is handling that in Ilesha. You have a few other players, mainly Chinese. There are exploration by a few other Western companies, but not on the scale of the Thor exploration at this point for gold in particular.
Interesting. China seems to have to be everywhere. The Chinese know how to really invest in several things. They see opportunities and they grab it like that. So this is one of the reasons why we hold webinars like this, so that we have investors from other countries outside there to come and invest. How easy is it to actually be part of it, to be player in this? So how easy is it to like partake in the business? Like if you want to invest in that sector?
Yeah, at this point, you know, the Chinese have over 1 billion mouths to feed, so they don't have a choice. They will have to find anything they want to they want to buy. They must find it, or else they're going to be having issues down the line. They themselves have enough resources. They have quite substantial mineral resources. But going to your question, to enter this place, the space at this point is still a bit easy to come into. The barriers are not so high for many. For a foreign company, they just need to set up a company, get their licenses at the Ministry of Mines, and they're all basically set up. They have agreements with the mining community. All those are still straightforward and not so, because the government is keen to have this area well established. It's not making the barriers very high. So you get a lot of these things for relative pittance compared to other countries around the world. What you just need to be sure of is that you have the capacity to execute the transactions that you are interested in well. The picture I showed earlier, indicates that what the locals are doing at this point is mainly subsistence. If you're going to go on an industrialized level, you're going to spend a lot of money. You're going to have the capital and you have the required manpower and resources to be able to execute that assignment. So this maybe answers your question. As far as the government regulations are concerned, they are still very easy and straightforward, relatively speaking. It's not like some of our neighboring countries that where you can't buy for gold. For gold, you can't export at the rate at which Nigerians are doing. That's the way it is.
Very much. I have a whole lot of questions, but I want the audience to ask their questions if they have any questions. Anyone? If you have questions, let us show by raise of hand, or you unmute yourself and ask your question, or you type your question and we'll read it out. We have just like a few minutes so that I will give Komi the platform to talk. Okay. It seems okay. We have someone saying wonderful presentation, Mr. Niyi. Thanks for enlightening us. Thank you, Asif.
Thank you, Asif.
Yeah. Do you have any question though, Asif? So anyway, for if you have questions, please like note
I don't know if Debbie's still in the meeting.
Yeah, I think her connection is suffering a bit.
Okay. I think maybe we should wait for her, or maybe you just go ahead for me.
Okay, I mean, if I think for the sake of time, I will go ahead and then she will continue to monitor. Niyi, thank you very much for that information. I learned a lot of things which I did not know about Nigeria. So we will continue the conversation as usual between you and my firm. Everyone, my name is Komi. I'm based in Ghana and I telecommute between West Africa mostly and the US. My office is in the US also. I have done, my background is very simple. I worked in global banking for HSBC, investment banking for HSBC Bank for many years. And after that, I moved from investment banking into risk. And I have worked as the head of risk for the Bank for North America for some years before I decided to go on my own. So what I wanted to talk about today is to demystify the perceived challenges about investing in Africa. Niyi just said something, a lot of things that are important, that Nigeria is getting ready to explode positively, financially, and economically. But if you ask the average person sitting in an office in Manhattan or in Washington, D.C. or in Atlanta or in London, they will tell you that Nigeria is too risky for me to invest because they will give you reason that there's Boko Haram in the country, there's a lot of shooting and a lot of kidnapping. So from the get-go, I would like to start challenging my brothers and sisters, Africans on this call, so that we Africans can start doing a better job like this by singing our own tune and by presenting the facts about Africa. I'm not saying to go lie to anybody, but presenting the fact like this forum where we say, look, Nigeria may have its challenges, but there are still people who are doing business there. The Caterpillar there is making a lot of money. All the oil companies are making a lot of money. All the fintechs are making a lot of money. So if other people are able to do it and making a lot of money in Nigeria, you should be able to do it too. So I think we, the African advocate or the African optimists, need to start saying that to our relationship, to our network, so that the people can get the facts from the Africans' own mouth, rather than getting it from Fox News, from BBC, or from CNN. Therefore, my presentation falls in line with what my brother Niyi just said. Before you invest in Africa, before you invest anywhere in the world for that matter, you need to do your homework. And for Africa specifically, there are a lot of specific investment guarantee instruments or insurances that one can acquire, so that, let's say you go, you buy an oil field in Nigeria, or an oil well in Nigeria, and before you do that, or after you do that, you buy some kind of insurance, which is like political risk insurance and other type of instruments, so that in case something should happen, in case you become a victim of expropriation or there's political violence, you can recuperate most of your money, if not all. And also, when you're investing in some countries also, there are other instruments that can help you mitigate against the currency devaluation. Currently in Ghana, we are suffering the currency devaluation where our currency gets dropped, I mean, by more than 50%. So something like that, you can have a currency devaluation insurance or protection, even from the government or from some private institutions to protect you. And there is a very good one financial instruments, which a lot of people did not know about. It's a World Bank agency called Multilateral Investment Guarantee Agency, MIGA, which is a branch of the World Bank. They provide export credits and then political risk protection. So it is a very good instrument should you decide to invest. So like what I'm saying is, Niyi said there's a lot of opportunities in Nigeria. And for that matter, there's a lot of opportunities across Africa. But the reason why most Westerners don't come to Africa is because, first of all, they don't know how to safeguard their investment. And most importantly, also, they are aware, they're unaware of the facts. They just let the news, the bad news about Africa, discourage them. So there are instruments that can protect them. But the question is, why do you have to wait until you invest, buy insurance, and bet on something going wrong? I'm not saying you cannot, you should not buy insurance or instrument that to protect your investment. But my advice to the would-be investors is, before you invest, you need to investigate. What do I mean by that? Let me repeat myself. Before you invest, you need to investigate. This afternoon, I was talking to Niyi on my way from the airport to my office in Accra. This afternoon, I just came back from a neighboring country in West Africa. Yesterday, we launched a new private equity fund created solely to invest in agriculture, agro-business, and food processing. And even though we have investors who are willing and able and ready to invest, it took us more than 9 months for money to change hands and for the final agreement to be signed. Why? Because I told them that we need to do our homework very well. We need to put in place all the controls. We need to make sure that once we start the business, we give ourselves all the opportunities for us, for the projects to be successful. So we worked for 9 months, even though the deal could have been closed like many months ago. And we just closed the deal yesterday. That's what I'm talking about. You need to understand Africa. You need to understand the ecosystem of the country or the economy that you are invested in. You need to understand the people, and you need to understand their shortcomings. I mean, Africa is a young economy, and there are things that we don't have rights, but there are things that are positive within Africa. You need to understand that. It takes a lot of time. But once you do all of that, your luck and your probability of success is much, much higher. So what I'm recommending to everybody who is interested in Africa is to take it easy first. Take some basic practical steps. We, my firm, and some of the partners that I have across Africa, we can provide you with important and transaction information about your partners, your potential partners, information about the industry, credit risk information, and political risk analysis, so that you can make the right decision. Now, another thing which is a challenge in Africa is the people factor. People go, and foreigners come, they invest without really understanding the culture, without building a business system which could survive in Africa. They like to just copy and paste in Africa. So we can help them, and by just preventing any mishap or preventing any challenges that they can face. We have a 12-point corporate due diligence checklist that we use to help our customers to do business, to do the research, and to ensure that they have answers to every single question, including the risk questions that they can find in the country. And the second thing that we are recommending to anybody come to invest in Africa, to safeguard their investment, is to partner. A lot of our countries have what we call the local content. It cannot come from America, come from UK, thinking that you can create your own company and here and run it as perfectly as you want. Some unethical people can even just take your money and run away. And there's corruption everywhere in the world, but there's corruption in Africa too. So some corrupt people can just take your money and run away. So partnering with a local partner, which has been carefully selected, will give you a competitive advantage because they know the lay of the land and they can help you be successful. And the third point is you need to build controls. It doesn't matter how much you trust the people or trust anybody, you need to build controls. Controls, so that you can make sure that if something leaves your warehouse, is going to a client, if you ship 1,000 units and the client will receive 1,000 units, you need to build control. So in closing, I have a few recommendations in terms of advice. In 7 points. Number one, I say about Africa, you need to ignore the noise. There's too much noise about Africa. Africa this, Africa that, Nigeria this, Nigeria that. Nigeria is a lovely country. Of course, Nigeria has its share of problems. Of course, Ghana has we have our share of problems. But Nigeria is not more dangerous than Ukraine or than some countries in the world. So we need some advisors to ignore the noise. Second, they need to get the facts. They need somebody like that.
Shut this off for me.
Excuse me?
Hello.
Are you talking to me? Should I continue?
Yes, please. I think that was
okay. Okay. So I say number one, we need to ignore the noise. Number two, we need to get the facts. We need people, local people who know the market, who know the lay of the land, to give you the facts. And three, you need to do your homework. In any industry you want to invest in any country, you need to do your homework. If you don't have the expertise to do your homework, we can help you, but you need to do your homework. Don't throw your money away. You need to do your homework. And we said already, you need to partner with the local. That's very, very important. And we said also you need to build a control. After you did all of that, you check the facts, you do your homework, you partner, you find a reputable local to partner with, and you build a control that can make the business successful, you can invest. And after you invest, you need to have timely monitoring and control. If you do all of that, I guarantee you that you will be happy by reaping the fruits of the bountiful fruits of Africa, many, many opportunities. Thank you very much. Africa is open for business. I'll be happy to take any question. Thank you.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Thank you so much. That's really enlightening and that's really encouraging too. Thank you so, so much. One major thing that I caught up from all you said is the part of partnering. Like, it's so essential to partner with the locals, where if you know that you want to invest in a country and you want to do well, because they're sure to show you the way. Thank you so, so much. If we have questions, kindly unmute yourself. Okay, kindly unmute yourself. We have a question from Babalola. Kindly unmute yourself for others that want to ask questions. And Babalola's question is, are the investments, investment opportunity, are they based in Nigeria only or globally? And do you have sort of control over funds that?
So it's question directed to me if the investment opportunities are based in Nigeria only, or is he talking about the funds that we created? Is that what the question is?
Yes, yes.
Oh, okay. No, the funds that we created can invest in any country, but we are selective. We're investing only in agriculture and agro processing, in food production. That's specifically for that fund.
Okay. Sorry, Debbie, thank you so much for taking on the question. When you were talking, I wasn't having my headset on, so thank you for that. So to buttress on the question, my name is Babalola. So to buttress on the question, what I'm saying is, if I invest my money, do I know where you're going to put the funds? Like maybe there are some businesses that are very risky. So if I put my money there, I want to know, maybe, I can tell you, oh, this is where I want to invest my money, or you are going to be in the control of where to put the funds.
Okay, that's a good question. No. What we're doing is, within the private equity firm, we are creating specific funds. So we'll give you the profile of the business we are going to we'll create this fund for, and then you can say that, for instance, the first fund that we're investing is a poultry farm. Okay. And then the second fund is like a fish farm in Zambia. Okay. So we can give you the profile of the business, the owner of the business, and then you can decide, I want to invest in this fund or in that fund in this country.
Okay. What about the rate? Thank you so much for answering that question. What about the rate of returns? Is this something that I'll be able to know, okay, maybe after 4 years, after 5 years, this is the kind of income that I'm going to get? Or is it that it's going to be like
somebody play music?
That's Comforting Arms. Can you please mute yourself?
Somebody's in church or something.
Comforting Arms.
Yeah.
Somebody's in church. Okay.
Okay, sorry about that. So,
Babalola, go ahead.
Yeah, so what I'm saying is, is it possible that for me to be able to project my rate of returns, maybe like 4 or 5 years, will I be able to say, this is what I'm going to get in returns? So what I'm essentially saying is, those where you're going to invest the funds, do they have a kind of history? They'll be able to let me know where to put my fund and how to make my investment decisions.
Yes, the kind of how their history, but it's not like Facebook or Twitter where you can just go online and see their financial. African businesses, some of them don't have like this correct and well documented accounting track record. Okay. But before we invest, the same thing I'm preaching to you, we do it also ourselves. Before we invest, we do the 12 points checklist, and we have like a company profile and the financial that we have been able to audit ourselves that we can present to you. And I can tell you for the first fund that we are ramping up now, it is both debt and equity.
Okay.
And the debt part is 10% return. And the equity part, based on our calculation, is 51% return.
Okay.
So we're doing a combination like mezzanine investment, we're doing debt and equity. So
okay.
If my number, just call me, we can share some information on.
Okay, and also, and my last question, so that I can give other people the chance to, ask their questions. So
Yeah.
This investment is going to be global, not just one particular country.
No. Oh, it's going to be African. It's an African fund, though.
Just African, okay.
So in African, yeah, no. We're not.
So, but it
investing
could
in
be
the
any
US.
state, any country in Africa. But for example, like there are some countries that I wouldn't want to, put my money based on the political and economic situation of that country.
Yes, you're right.
So I have to say, okay, in this particular country, I don't want my money to go there. This particular country, I put my money there. Okay.
Yes.
Thank you so much for that.
Thank
you for the clarifications.
No problem, my brother.
You're welcome.
Thank you for your participation. You're calling from UK or US? Yeah.
I'm calling from the US.
All right. Okay. Thanks for joining in.
Oh, I'm based in the US too, though.
Oh,
so
that's good. I'm in New York.
Connect. I'm in Delaware.
Oh, that's cool. We can always connect. Maybe after this session, we can, share our numbers.
Yeah, you can reach out to me. Yes.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
After the session, you must join our global chamber. That's
Debbie, don't worry.
Of all this.
You and I will talk after this. We know how to connect.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. So much.
You're welcome.
Do we have other people? Questions?
Other question for me?
Okay. It seems as if okay, there are no more questions. Okay, fine. Okay. All right. It's okay. Thank you so much. It's been a real wonderful one. And for those out there and those that will be joining in, well, not really joining in, watching the video later, you're welcome to know that this is Global Chamber, and Global Chamber is just like our national, every country's commerce, chamber of commerce, where businesses are encouraged, networking, partnering, investment, and all that. So Global Chamber is a global one that invests in your business or partnering with you or collaborating, whether you're individual or your company, and you're also probably looking for investors. It's a whole range of business promotion. So we thank you all for joining in. It's been a wonderful one. We have Sanusi going for another meeting by 5:30. So we want to round everything up. So for you to join us, you can reach me later. I'm going to put my contacts online so that you can get in touch with me later. It's really fun. It's a good one, good opportunity for everyone to join in. So for some of the webinars we've been holding, we've had investors, people that are interested in investing in people's business. So, and it's also another platform as a member. It's a platform for you to also pitch your business, or for investors, likely investors, to talk about your business, what you do, and if you're looking for partners or collaboration, this is a platform to join. Thank you all for joining. And before we go, I have Professor Robina. Professor Robina, are you still online? Could you talk about your upcoming event quickly? Are you still there? I'm not sure if she's still around. Professor Robina? Okay, you're still there. Can you please unmute yourself so that you talk about your okay, we have Ogbonna. Before we leave, Ogbonna, you're just coming in. Could you please unmute yourself?
I'm just a friend of Niyi, just an observer.
Okay, okay.
Is correct.
All right, could you go ahead? Go ahead, yeah. You want to talk, Niyi? Hello? Okay.
I didn't get the question you asked.
Sorry?
You asked me.
What question?
I didn't get the question you asked me. No, I don't have a question for you.
Okay.
Thank you.
You said you have another observation. Okay, all right, okay, thank you. Thank you. So we are supposed to have a third speaker who I'm just in joining. He probably was in another meeting or had some technical problem. We have few minutes to 5:30, so I want to see if you can quickly talk. Ogbonna, are you ready? Hello, Ogbonna. Ogbonna, okay, I'm not sure if he's ready.
He's muted.
Professor
He's
Robina,
muted.
oh, okay.
He's speaking but muted.
Okay, okay, unmute yourself, please, if you can hear me. All right, okay.
Oh, hold up.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, I say I'm sorry for coming in
Unmute
late.
yourself,
I
yeah.
had a little. Yes, I have. I've done that already. Can you all hear me?
Yeah, okay. Yes,
All
we
right,
can hear you loud and clear.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. I said I really must apologize. I had a little emergency, so that's why I came in late.
Okay, apologize.
Nevertheless, I know I've not followed the comment. Since we're speaking about investment promotion, this is actually what I have basic training. Yeah, this is an area where I have basic experience. I have expertise in, and being an advisor here at the Global Chamber is something that we've done and then we're still doing. But what I would like to say here at this point in time is there's just something I do every time I go for any fora or forum to discuss investment and investment opportunities in Africa.
Okay.
I always use my base Nigeria as an experience. When Nigeria was, can you all see here? Hello, can you hear me? Okay, so I said I always use my personal experience I share my personal experience to tell people how huge the opportunities here in Nigeria are. I said in 2005, when Nigeria was, started handing over its national assets to foreign investors or, to local investors, I had a particular focus. I promoted a particular transaction. It's actually a petrochemical plant owned by the federal government, 100% owned by federal government, and then federal government was going to sell 80% stake of that transaction. So I brought in a company called Indorama Group. It was they were into textile, looking at going bigger, making the raw material, trying to do build their raw material supply strategy to a higher height. So I brought them into Nigeria, led them to the bid. To cut the long story short, they bought over that asset. It's still in Nigeria today. If you Google on Forbes, you will see that company that I brought here in 2005 that was worth less than $100 million is now worth $15 billion. Now the asset is still, they've had an additional almost 10 billion worth of investment after they took over that particular national asset. So I say that to say that Nigeria is not as conducive, let me use the word conducive, but I always say that for people who are big players who want to persevere, the opportunities here from little to plenty. So this is where I always start from. So I'm not looking for those who are basically looking for countries where their ease of doing business is at the high level, like Singapore, Switzerland. No, that's not what we are. Yes, we're working hard. The country is working hard. We are advising them on how to make our investment environment better. But as we speak, the opportunities are still there. So come, we can hold your hands. We can walk you through it, help you navigate through the system. It is not as difficult as they make it look. The opportunities are enormous. So having said that, I know we're all, I know we started long ago, but I just wanted to hit it hard, and then if there's any question, I can answer from there. Thank you so much, Debbie.
Thank you for that brief one. Thank you, and your sins are forgiven. Go ahead, no more. All right. So if we have people that have questions, could you please kindly unmute yourself, ask your question, or you type your question. We have we're going to give 5 minutes for questions before 5:30. round of thanks and allow Niyi to go for a separate meeting. Anyone question? Okay, no question. So okay, for my question, while we're waiting, in case anyone has questions, Ogbonna, so if what we basically do is to encourage people to come and invest, or you're an investor, or what exactly? Can you explain just like break it down? So people looking at you now, if they want to, they can come to you to help them with their investment.
Yes, it's our job. Yeah, it's our job to make sure that we support companies. So we provide investor support services, advocacy, and we just simply help you navigate through the system. So we can also help in, building business plans, feasibility studies, our team. So we do government liaison also. So we help you if there are licenses that you need, if there are approvals that you need from government, we will help you navigate through the system. I know people find it difficult sometimes to navigate through some areas in Africa because they believe because of some treaties that they have against bribery. So what we have done is to be able to create a system to mitigate against that interface between you and government officials who will want to ask you for one thing or the other. So we make sure, because of our position, we make sure that we make things a lot easier for you. So if you want to acquire land, if you want to get information about an investment area, we are always ready and available to do that job for you. So basically, that's part of what we do.
And for those, so you do this for both the locals, as in Nigerians and outsiders.
Yeah, we do we have we do for local investors, and we do for foreign investors too, and we try to also match make. So if we find an opportunity, let's say, for example, there is a particular company that have gotten a license to do to roll out Motorola's CDMA. They're from the United States, and they are seeking for partners who will work with them. So we're basically creating forums where such people meet, have interactions, share, be able to pitch some of those the opportunity, and then
This guy right here,
we're close to closing the transaction. Yeah, can you hear me?
He joined early, maybe 5 years ago, and he said, "I want to be president of Nigeria, and I want to become the global chamber stepping stone." So then he disappears. Like for years, he disappeared, and then he showed up a few weeks ago with some leader. Then they're doing a big event in New York, like with presidents of countries in Africa and stuff like that. And he wanted his commission. So,
we can hear you.
I've been gone for years. We like eliminated your email and all of that. And we went through this conversation. He goes, "Okay, I get it. I need to be present."
Be a part of
So he didn't show up for the meeting for the first half. So I don't exactly know what to think of him yet, but the fact that he's there is a good sign. So now I have to.
It seems like he has something to say. I think she.
Oh, sorry about that, Debbie. I was talking to.
You introduce yourself.
I was talking to this fellow right here. Let's see. He's my hairdresser, Dion. Have you been to Africa? Have you been to Nigeria?
No, next on my list, no doubt.
Okay, very good.
But I have on African beats today.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, indeed. Hello to you all.
Hello. So that Ogbonna was like talking, and some noise came in from iSense. Okay. All right, Ogbonna, you want to continue?
Yeah. So you asked, maybe we should go back to the question you asked. So can you take the question again?
Yes, I asked. I said, is this for locals, or this for locals and people outside, or just for people outside wanting to invest in Nigeria?
No, it's also for locals. There are lots of Nigerians who have, they have liquidity, but they don't know what to throw their money into. They don't know the viable sectors to go into, areas where there are interest, basically. So we help them, we advise them, we give them that support that they need to make sure that they navigate through the system properly, and then we align them to make sure that they get the best out of whatever investment that they go into. So basically, it's for foreign and local. Thank you.
We have like 15 minutes more, and if there are questions, please let's have your question. Otherwise, I'll just probably round up and ask if Doug has something to say. If you've been listening, Doug actually is the president of Global Chambers, and he's always been the moderator, but today happens to be a busy day for him, and he's unable to join us today. However, if his barber is having a haircut, and I don't know if he will have the time to say hello and if you have anything to say. Doug, do you have anything to say? Oh, we go ahead. Hello, Doug. Okay, I think it's not with us anymore. Okay, so just like I said, Global Chamber has in over 530 communities, and we showcase our businesses. We encourage business growth, promote businesses, and also help get partners. It's a good place to network. And the reason we want, one of the benefits you get as a member would be that you are sure to get legit partners if you need partners or investors. You're sure to get legit partners. Members are vetted, and they don't just on board, just like that. We try to see, check out businesses, and it's you get to pay a yearly annual fee as a member, and you have access to several other conferences, webinars, and you also have the opportunity of showcasing your business or pitching for your business. And you can see the caliber of facilitators we have today. There we have people, connections, business matchmaking, and all what have you. So it's good that you join us as a member, and I don't know if Professor Robina, she's already put her profile on chatboard, and I don't know, she has an upcoming event in October. It would be nice for us to join in. She's a founder of Trans Africa Trade platform. She's from Uganda, and she's done great jobs uniting Africa. I believe strongly in Africa, partnering Africa, Africans patronizing Africa, and also involving other people, like, just for us to grow and we all have a unique strength. We all have a unique selling points, and it's a good place for us to come together as one to make Africa great. Yeah. So Africa, like the last event we had, we said Africa will soon be feeding the world. We've already started that, and we want to see us grow. And that's one thing again Doug is doing. He's not just focused on Africa alone. He focuses on everyone, like all tribes. Wants to come together, put our friends together to promote business. Thank you all for joining. I don't know, Doug, are you ready to talk? And for the slides for today's presentation, we'll share with you later. And also contact to also get contact of the facilitators. You can reach me on. I'll share my details now. You reach me on that, my WhatsApp number or my email, and we take it up from there to join, to be a member, or to want to have access to our facilitators. Thank you, everyone. Doug seemed not to have the time to talk. He's still busy. And Professor Robina, I don't know if you can hear me. If you have one or two words, can you quickly unmute yourself and talk, please?
Oh, yes. Thank you very much, Debbie, for this wonderful moderation and hosting of the event. And thank you all our dear speakers, and to also cheers to Global Chamber for creating this platform for us to connect and work together. Yes, I'm Robina Kenanyunja, a newly appointed Global Advisor for Global Chamber. I'm new actually in Global Chamber, but I'm very, very excited really to be part of this community. And yeah, over to the summit next month. The ideology is the same: to unite Africa through trade, through investment, through working together as a continent, because there is a lot to do on the African continent with immense opportunities that if we work together and trade together and connect, you know, we would really do a lot of impact, get our youth and women and everyone out of unemployment, and really be the and to drive Africa to maybe middle income and also to high income continent. So, and I'm also looking forward maybe to hosting the Globinar in Kampala, Uganda, for the next one. Looking forward to working with Doc and everyone to have this. I think ahead of the summit, it will be very, very fabulous. Thank you very much and have a good night.
Thank you. Thank you. That's a good. So we thank everyone for joining in today. Let's make it another time. Very soon, we're going to send in the next one. The next one actually would be very well. It just gets better and better by the day. So thank you all for joining. We appreciate you. Komi, thank you. Monsieur Komi, thank you very much. Ogbonna, thank you very much. Thank you very much, everyone here on the platform that joined in. God bless you. Nosa, I see you. Actually, maybe Nosa, someday will probably bring you on board to talk about your business. Nosa is coming up with, okay, I see someone stand up. Nosa is coming up with a business, some nice spice from all the way from Nigeria, and probably will talk about that sometime. Miss Jacob, well, I see Jacob and MOG, all of you, Olaide, Oluwole, and Bemisola Adenuga, thank you so much for joining in. God bless you. And Babalola, all the way from US, thank you so much.
Thanks,
for joining
Debbie.
in. And God bless.
You're welcome, my pleasure.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Yeah, so we can all tune in on YouTube. We have our YouTube social media, so this will be played there. Other people can watch and then join in. So maybe you never can tell. Some investor out there will probably see your presentation and want to invest in your business. So you have a wonderful weekend, the rest of you. Watch out for this presentation on YouTube, on our YouTube, okay?
Okay.
And have a wonderful one.
You too. Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Yeah.